Erev Tov, good evening. Dear Professor David Harel, President of the Israel Academy of Science and the Humanities, dear Professor Yoel, dear Academy members, dear audience here and online. I'm honored and immensely pleased to open the 2026 annual Charles Darwin Lecture of the Israel Academy of Sciences and Humanities. I invite Professor David Harel, President of the Academy, to deliver his introductory remarks.
Good evening, everyone. When we launched the Charles Darwin Lecture Series, I think 6 years ago, towards the end of Professor Nili Cohen's tenure as president, the Israel Academy of Sciences and Humanities set out to host leading researchers in scientific fields that grew one way or another out of Darwin's work. Last year, for the first time, our lecturer was a young Israeli scientist, Professor Liran Carmel, and the evening was indeed a great success. Tonight, we are glad to welcome another Israeli, this time one of the most senior and distinguished members of our own academy, Professor Yoel of Tel Aviv University, who is among the world's foremost authorities on the origins of all of us. Tonight's lecture sits squarely within Darwin's own tradition. Darwin was, above all, a careful anatomist, someone who read information relevant to the history of life, even in the smallest details of bone and form. Professor Rak has spent an entire career doing essentially that, recovering the story of our origins from the anatomy of fossil skulls, faces, and jaws. His work on Australopithecus afarensis, do I get a 6 or a 7? The species to which the famous Lucy belongs, it's much easier to say Lucy, and on the anatomy of upright walking has helped shape the way we all understand the human family tree. Some of you no doubt remember that in 2019, Professor Rak conceived and curated a wonderful exhibition here in this very building titled The Fossil Trial, The Evidence for Human Evolution. He brought together casts of fossil skulls of early hominins from his own private collection, including some of the oldest fossils known to science, together with stranger members of our family tree, species that evolved and lived alongside us but left no descendants. The exhibition drew large crowds, and everyone who was lucky enough to tour it with Professor Rak himself came away having learnt a lot. Tonight, Professor Rak will ask how and when we parted ways from our closest living relatives, the chimpanzees, and what the fossil record tells us about the tempo and the mode of that journey, i.e. its face and its pattern. The title is a quiet nod to George Gaylord Simpson's classic book from 1944 titled Tempo and Mode in Evolution, which became one of the foundations of modern evolutionary thinking. As Professor Rak puts it, the split between us and the chimpanzees 5 to 7 million years ago was an event that, quote unquote, in geological terms, occurred only yesterday. And yet, even today, many people, too many people, including in modern scientifically advanced societies, still refuse to accept the theory of evolution, one of the most original and best established ideas in all of science. We need not look far for an example. A few years ago, a senior Israeli minister, Bezalel Smotrich, currently our Minister of Finance, stated publicly that it is absurd to think that we originated from apes. Darwin's theory has become passé, and the theory of evolution is no longer accepted in the world of science. It would be hard to find a claim more at odds with the facts, and I'm phrasing this deliberately as an English-style understatement. Still, a single stupid remark is not really the problem. In these difficult days, as Israel faces challenges on many fronts, we are seeing repeated attempts to bend science, education, and culture to political and ideological preferences, to weaken the institutions whose independence is what makes honest knowledge possible, and in some cases, to attempt to blatantly take them over. On such things, we here at the Academy will not stay silent. Science is not a matter of opinion or belief. It rests on carefully accumulated and documented scientific evidence, on patient and diligent work, and on the truth, even when that truth is inconvenient or clashes with one's religious beliefs or with one's power-thirsty political agendas. Defending that and standing up for open, borderless scientific cooperation has rarely mattered more. Darwin's name belongs among the giants of science of all times, with Newton, with Einstein, with Freud, and also with Alan Turing. These are names that reach well beyond their own fields. Their work has changed how we understand the world and how we understand ourselves. Freud said as much. He once described a series of blows that science had dealt to human pride. First was Copernicus, who was able to dramatically falsify what was the reigning belief of his time, essentially moving the Earth out of the center of the universe. Then along came Darwin, delivering what Freud called the second, I'm quoting, the biological blow to human narcissism, end of quote, by showing that we too are part of the animal world. And finally came Freud's third blow, his work on the unconsciousness. To stand in Darwin's line is to make peace with that humility, accepting that we ought to take our true place within nature. And here is the part that moves me most. The study of human origins reminds us that all of us, every people and every nation, descend from a common ancestor, that we are, in the end, one family. The Mishnah in Sanhedrin said this long ago. It teaches us that the first human being was created alone by himself, Nivra Adam Yechidi, so that no one could ever say to another, my father, i.e. ancestor, lineage, is greater than yours. Shelo yomar Adam lachavero, Abba gadol me'avicha. And yet out of that single origin came endless variety, for as the same passage in Sanhedrin marvels, not one of them humans is identical to another. מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא טבע כל אדם בחותמו של אדם הראשון ואין אחד מהם דומה לחברו. And science tells us the very same thing. Dear Yoel, it is a great privilege to have you here tonight. You have just turned 80, and the Mishnah, with its usual wisdom, calls 80 the age of Gvura, of strength. In your case, the word is an exact fit, a lifetime of rigorous, first-rate research and an energy that shows no sign of slowing down and puts so many of us to shame. We are all looking forward to your lecture and to seeing how you light up one of the most remarkable chapters in the human story. I would like to thank the dedicated Academy staff for organizing this special evening, and in particular, of course, to Dr. Yoel Ben Chaim. Thank you all very much.
Thank you, Professor Harel, for your thoughtful opening remarks. It is now my distinct pleasure to introduce the speaker for the 2026 Charles Darwin Lecture, Professor Yoel. Member of the Israel Academy of Sciences and Humanities, Professor Emeritus of Anatomy and Physical Anthropology of Tel Aviv University, and one of the world's leading scholars in the field of human evolution. For more than 5 decades, Professor Rack has devoted his scientific career to exploring one of the most fundamental questions in science, the origin and evolution of humankind. His research has focused on the anatomy and evolution of early hominids, including Australopithecines, Neanderthals, and early members of the genus Homo, combining exceptional expertise in comparative anatomy and meticulous analysis of fossil remains. He has helped deepen our understanding of the evolutionary relationship among the ancient ancestors. Professor Rack has participated in major paleoanthropological expeditions and research projects at some of the world's most significant fossil sites, particularly in East Africa and Israel. His work has contributed to important discoveries and has enriched scientific understanding of the human fossil record and the evolutionary story of our species. One example is the Hadar project in Ethiopia, where in 1992 he discovered the most complete adult male skull of Australopithecus afarensis ever discovered. It dates to approximately 3 million years ago. Professor Rack was curator of the early hominid cast collection at the Standard Museum of Natural History, and also the curator, as Professor Harel mentioned, of the exhibition here at the Academy. I would like to mention that his guided tour at the Academy was recorded, and it's fascinating lecture which you can find on the web. Beyond his scientific achievements, Professor Rack has earned the admiration of colleagues and students alike for his intellectual generosity, scientific rigor, and an unwavering commitment to excellence. His election to the Academy, the election as a member of the Israel Academy of Sciences and Humanities, reflects this outstanding impact of his scientific contribution and his lasting influence on the field of human evolution. This evening, Professor Rack will deliver the 2026 Charles Darwin Lecture entitled Tempo and Mode in Human Evolution, drawing on decades of research and remarkable discoveries from both the fossil record and molecular biology. We look forward to hearing his insight into one of the most fascinating chapters in the history of life on Earth. Professor Rack, we are honored to have you with us this evening. The platform is yours.